So guys, I've wanted to do this video for such a long time. So this video is going to be about solo cruising, but I'm also going to add being a solo traveler in general. I've traveled quite a bit. I've been very fortunate in my life as professionally and also on my own dime recently. And so for the last 9-10 years, I've traveled quite a bit on my own all over the world and in the United States and on cruises. And there's a stigma, I believe, attached to it. And I think I'm going to try to dispel some of that stigma now for myself and everybody else. And when I first started traveling alone, the challenge was my schedule at the time was very flexible. When I was off, my friends weren't off, or they couldn't afford to go, or they couldn't do this. And people were always making promises and never fulfilled it. So I just started going like, you know what, why am I going to, plan a trip around somebody else that's going to maybe flake at the end where I can go and I'm chill. Hey, I work what I want, I can eat what I want, I can do what I want to do, I can go where I want to go. If someone's in a bad mood, they're not next to me. Bye-bye, Felicia, I'm good. So I started traveling overseas, and then it was a really good experience. And then I started traveling more in Latin America, Central America, because the exchange rate was so great and I could do much further with my money. And actually I was doing pretty well for a while. And I remember probably about 3-4 years ago, I was in the beautiful Playa del Carmen in Mexico, and everybody at this resort, it was a gorgeous resort. And it so happened to, I'll tell you, this video is gonna be a little long because I think a lot of people have this stigma about solo travelers and about cruising and about traveling on your own. So I'm gonna really get into that. And back to the story, so I was at a beautiful resort, and so they had you with the swim up pools outside your door, and all inclusive and really good alcohol, amazing food. So there were families, a lot of newlyweds, and that's about it. And so really good friends. And so from the check-in to the bellman to everybody kept saying, why are you by yourself? Like, what's wrong? Don't you have any friends? And they were like feeling sorry for me. And I'm like, don't feel sorry for me. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm here for a week, 8 days. The food's great. I'm good, But it was the first time since I've traveled at that point where I felt a little insecure. Because I was like, why is everybody tripping that I'm by myself? Like, I'm okay with it. Why aren't they? And to add to this experience, there was a lot of newlyweds that people, would go to the resort for their honeymoon. And so they would have these huge, beautiful suites. And they would, of course, price it very expensive because they wanted the newlyweds to stay in these suites. And usually people do. This situation, I was there for, I think, about 8 or 9 days. And the suite actually wasn't occupied. So they put me in it. They're like, hey, we have this suite, actually it's not being occupied. We're not going to charge you any extra. I think the front desk girl was really nice and, she was sweet. And they just put me in there. And so I had this huge suite all by myself. And the first, I think, 3-4 days, I was chilling. And then, like I said, every day I would go out, and they had like 4 or 5 different restaurants on this resort. And I was by myself, and I was totally cool with it, but I could just feel the eyes, I could feel the stares, and even the server's like, tell me this, please guys, on this video, if you're a server, you work in a restaurant, I've been in food and beverage, but I've never seen this happen. Why did they remove the silverware and the setting if you're by yourself? I don't understand. It's like, I'm not gonna reach across the table and grab that extra fork and knife, or if I do, okay, there's more in the bag, but it adds to the stigma, I believe, when you sit down at a table, whether it's a 2-top or 4-top, restaurant talk, folks, 2 or 3, 4 chairs on the table. Why did you have to remove those settings? I'm cool with it. I mean, it was 4 people sitting there. It's not gonna make any difference removing the stuff if you have 3 or 4 dishes. So anyway, if you work in the restaurant business, then you know why they removed the settings. Please, right below, let me know so I can be educated on that. So anyway, so after that, I still continued to travel on my own, but I was a bit more cautious than I was before. Not because where I was going, but just the stigma attached to it. And I was thinking like, God, am I weird? Like, am I different? Do many people not travel? And I actually researched it and found out not a lot of people do. And I watched these videos online and I read some blogs, and people are like, oh, especially if you're female, you gotta be careful. Whether you're a guy or whether you're a female, if you're savvy, you're savvy. If you're gonna research where you're going to before you get there, and you're smart about what you're doing, and you're not gonna go out there wearing all this jewelry and flashing out monies like bills, making it rain. I think that you just use common sense wherever you travel. And again, I've been fortunate to travel quite a bit, and I don't care if it's Brazil, I don't care if it's Turkey, I don't care if it's India. People have treated me amazing and nice, and I've had really great experiences. So let me touch on the cruise part, and then I'll talk about the rest of the world and talk about traveling by yourself. So solo travel on a cruise. I've done probably about 10 or 11 cruises, and I did a video, if you can look up under my name, about a gay cruise that I did, and actually it was by myself, but I shared the room with somebody. And then after that cruise, I decided to do another cruise. I'm like, you know what? That actually was a good experience, but I shared the room with someone, and for about the same price, even more, much, much less, I was able to get a balcony room by myself. And again, the steward was like, oh, who's, no one's here with you, what's going on? But I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm here. I can put a t-shirt on. Yes, I've traveled by myself. I'm good with it. If you're not, bye Felicia, right? So I went back to that, and as a solo traveler on the cruise, I actually found it a bit more interesting. I actually just got back on the cruise 2 weeks ago, and this was out of Miami, and it was actually the Costa, the Italian ship, really, really beautiful. And it's interesting because I do a lot of traveling. I read a lot about the experience on all these different review sites. And man, they tore the ship up. Americans, you guys are too picky. I thought I was happening this. Y'all are too picky. I was expecting to go aboard and have a really just awful experience, and it was nothing but amazing. So what happened was, because I was traveling by myself, I think I actually had selected sometimes now, because you can select if you want an early dine-in or late dine-in, and you can actually select if you want to be by yourself, a table by yourself. And I believe I thought I selected a two-top. I think I did a two-chair table, and they actually had put me on a table. I think it was an 8-top, to be honest, and there was, of course, 3 couples there, so that'd be 6, and then with myself. So here comes the questions, and I'm cool with whatever. I was trying to be social, but I was like the reason why I tried by myself because I wanted to do my own thing. But I was like, fine, I was there for dinner, so I was being cordial. So in comes this one gentleman. I actually saw him at the bar just literally like a half an hour before dinner. And then so I saw him there, and he's by himself. He seemed kind of chill. I was like, he's probably gonna be watching this video. Hey, what's up? What's going on? And then I was like, okay, God. I was like, well, that's weird. They're kind of walking him over here. I'm like, nah, you can't. So actually, it turned to be this guy who's by himself. He is married. He has a partner. He's very happily married. But because he was by himself, they actually put him at the table because obviously the cruise. I used to work on a ship years ago. You know what? I'm gonna do a thing about working on the ship next. So they obviously knew that I was by myself, and whatever system they used, they put them at the table. And so the couple that was trying to get all my business and stuff, I was like, I have my gate up. I mean, I wasn't being rude, but I wasn't being like, come on in. I was like, yeah, give me a little small talk. When he came, I was like, oh God, okay, cool. It should be, the same family member and all cool and chill. And so I was like, I just saw him. So him and I hit it off right away. It was great. So we got along right away. So I could tell the other couples at the table kind of felt like, oh my God, I guess I'm not gonna find out anything about him now. And they were trying to interject in our conversation, but it was like, that is the dynamic because I originally chose to be by myself, but they put me at the table with other people. Now that this gentleman that was traveling by himself, with him, I just clicked, and we were just talking like we knew each other for 5 years. So what's cool about that? Afterwards, we actually went to the bar. We went back to the bar, and he was on a work trip. He actually represented the company, and so for the next 3 days we hung out. And so let me back up. We actually left Fort Lauderdale, and the next day, the second day, we were in Miami, and he actually lives in Miami. So we actually hung out in Miami, and then we actually met one of the crew members on the ship, real cool guy. And we were going to meet Grand Caymans on the third day, and we all got off the ship and we hung out. We had such a great, amazing time. So in that instant, it worked out perfectly because if I was, one good thing about, I know traveling by yourself and being a solo traveler is that if I was with somebody else, I would not meet the people I've met. And I'll talk about internationally in a second. I've been so lucky. A quick story. Oh God, where was I at? I was in, oh God, I can't think of it. Was it Croatia? I believe I was in Croatia. A few years ago, I was having a great time. I was by myself, and I think I was at a bar. Oh, no, forgive me, it was Berlin, and I'm not trying to name drop countries here, it was the truth. So I was actually in Berlin, it was a huge festival there. I was with a friend of mine that I had met, and we were hanging out, having dinner, and these guys came in the restaurant, real cool cats, and they were talking and having a good time, so we all kind of, just like 8 of us, we all like hung out for the next couple of days. And so it was like the summertime or whatever, and they're like, hey, we live in Australia, and it's actually a huge festival in Australia, like in January, like, you should come and chill. I'm like, I'm coming. And I went to Australia, and I hung out. So that's one good thing, if I was with somebody, and I was with a friend that time, but if I was with like a partner or dating somebody or a group of people, I would have never, ever met the people I've met traveling. I mean, Austria and Japan, and I've been so fortunate to be in places where I know if I was with somebody else, I wouldn't have met the connections I have. And what's great about it, these people are real. Like, I'm not sure about here in the States, it's a bit of flakery, I call it. Overseas, like, people are real. If they tell you they're going to meet you somewhere, they meet you. And if they tell you you're going to be there at 6 o'clock, they're there at 5:55. You don't get that here in the States. So, back to the cruise. So, we hung out the next few days, and he had to actually go back to work. So, I was on the ship for the next few days by myself. It was a 10-day cruise, so he left on the fourth night. So, I had quite a bit of days that I was by myself. The good thing about it when he left was that I actually slept, because when he was there, we hung out quite a bit. So I would keep myself fit, and then we would actually meet for lunch, and then we would, hang out all day and then have dinner. Boy, did I not gain 10 pounds on that cruise? Oh my God, I ate so much. When he left, though, I was kind of back to my own routine. So I had stayed fit, I had lunch, I slept for a few hours, then I would do my evening bar and then dinner by myself. And I only went to the cruise restaurant the first night. The main dining hall, because the buffet was actually so good. We actually went to the buffet the next couple of nights, and when he left, I continued doing the buffet because I wasn't pressured to talk to people or engage if I didn't want to, or talk about things I could just do what I want to do. So with the cruise, because people saw me with the guy I met the first night for 4 days, so they were used to seeing me. They thought we were together. And when he left, like, oh, where's your partner? Where'd he go? I'm like, dude, we were just friends. He's married. We had a cool time. And so the dynamic changed. And so I saw another video somebody spoke about when some people find that you're by yourself, then you're open game, right? And that did happen. A lot of the older ladies on the ship now started to come to me, and and they knew of my frustrations. That didn't matter to them. They were like, "Oh, you're by yourself, so we're gonna keep you company, and you're gonna come to dinner with us." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm good, boo boo. I'm good. Thank you. I'm just here." And then I got questions at least 4 times from the crew and from guests, like, "So why are you here? Are you just cool by yourself?" I'm like, "I sure am." So I've given back myself the strength to feel fine about being single, about being in solitude, about being by myself, when I want to be by myself. And what that has done is that it's given me strength that when I am by myself and I want to have company, when I want to be social, I can. So let's talk about overseas. So great thing about it is that I have opportunity to travel overseas, and when I go to overseas, and then I usually, I'll go to the bar, be social, and then, especially being a person of color, a lot of people of color do not travel. It's just the truth. So when I travel, I'm usually in places where I'm the only brown-skinned person there. So it usually always opens up interaction with somebody. I've never been in a place, overseas especially, where I'm sitting in a bar or a restaurant or somewhere, or just walking down the street, where somebody doesn't go, "Where are you from?" And it's such a great open-ended question, because I'm going to answer where I'm from, and I have a little bit of a dialect. I'm originally from the Caribbean, so that has another dynamic, and I think it's just amazing. And so to those folks who think about it and think they may be stigmatized or think it's weird, it's not. Other people may feel that it's weird, but it really isn't. So what I do when I travel, I do a lot of research I do a lot of last minute trips, but I also do a lot of research on where I'm gonna go. I used to do more, this is where I should go, where I should eat, but now really what I do when I check into the hotel, I kind of go on Yelp. And I'm not sure when you'll be watching this video, but that's what is kind of popular right now. I'll go on Yelp and see what good places are around me, what popular places around me, what places are good to eat, what park or recreation is around me that has free music events or whatever have you. Because when you do that, you find the most interesting people. And I'll go on social media networking sites and put on there, "Hey, I'm here to hang out. I'd love to have tour guides show me around, show me a part." When you meet somebody that's locally from the place that you're at, and they're your tour guide, you can get no better experience ever. Because I can read all the books I want or watch the videos I want, but when you meet somebody who's actually from the region or lived there a long time or know the language, know the people, know the food, they are going to have you see it from their eyes, and there's no better experience. I have seen things like I would have experienced if I was on my own, because I probably wouldn't have gone in that neighborhood or going in this place. And yes, it's always usually most of it the touristy stuff, but a lot of it is what the locals do, and it's just the most amazing experience. So, ladies, so I see a lot of videos saying, "Oh, as the ladies need to be more careful about." I think that's anything, whether you're a guy or a woman, you should be careful. I go back to Brazil a little bit. People, before I got to Brazil the first time, everybody was like, "Oh my God, don't go here, don't go there. You can watch out for that, and people are gonna do this." look, let me tell you something. They made me so worried. This is people that live in Brazil, or people that are from Brazil. They made me so cautious and so worried. I'm going out doing this, and I'm a huge picture taker. Link to my Instagram. I take pictures of wherever I travel, and I try to educate people of what it is. And it was really sad because a lot of times I didn't. The first time, I've been there many times since then, but the first time I hardly took my phone out anywhere because everybody kept saying it would be stolen or I'll get mugged. And trust me, I've heard stories of real friends who live there who get mugged all the time. I know, I don't think I'm that big, but I don't know if it's my size or if I look like I'm dangerous. I don't know, but people, they're really chill. And one of the first things I did, Michael Jackson, and I know people have their own opinions about him. He did a video, I don't really care what they really care about us. So anyways, he did a video there with Spike Lee, didn't really care about us. Amazing video, whether you like him or not, whatever you think about him, it is what it is. He did two versions of it, and one of the versions he did one version when he was in jail, really amazing video, and another version when he was in Brazil. Oh my God, the video, again, I don't know what you think about this man, but the video, if you ever take an opportunity, check it out. Didn't Really Care About Us by Michael Jackson, directed by Spike Lee, and they went to one of the favelas. So the favela is this huge place in Brazil, huge places, and some people call it the ghetto, I call it live-in. I've lived in the best parts of the world and the worst parts of the world, so I ain't judging. But the favelas is a very communal, very organized community of just houses stacked up in a hill, basically, and they have their own system there. And yes, back in the day, maybe so still, it was some parts of it is very dangerous, though they have a tour that where Michael Jackson, he actually went into the favelas and he did these videos with just everyday people. And it's an amazing tour. And the statue is there, and it was one of the best experiences. That was one of the first things I did when I got to Copacabana, Ipanema, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, because it just made me feel like I was a local, and these people saw me there, and I don't know if that started the whole vibe with me there, but people, they didn't mess with me. They didn't mess with me, they were cool, and again, I've been there many times since then, and yeah, of course, I still go wear my jewelry, because you gotta think about it, somebody's coming from a place where they have nothing, and they see this, black gringo. I mean, I'm just proud of myself if I, go out there wearing all my jewelry. So, solo traveler, if you've ever thought about it, I would highly, highly recommend it. Be sensible, use common sense, be aware of your surroundings, try to network before you get there, while you're there. If it doesn't feel right, sound right, taste right, look right, then don't do it. You gotta be trusting sometimes, My brother always tells me that I'm too trusting, and thank God all these years I've been very fortunate, and I've met the right people and been in many situations where I wouldn't have if I wasn't trusting, because, you gotta go with your guts, but you also gotta be sensible, So luckily if you meet a local, I always try to meet first in my hotel. I meet at a pub. If I'm meeting somebody for the first time, especially if it's a networking basis, and they show me their country, their cities, their neighborhood, I meet in my hotel, because usually I stay in nice hotels, and at least there's cameras there, there's security. And I kind of hint to that. And people are like, oh, we'll meet in the lobby first, because at least it'd be safe for yourself and me. They didn't know who I am. I mean, I have social media, so they can look at me and see what I'm doing and know that I'm real, but I don't know anything what they're doing. People can post whatever they want to post. But if you meet an essentially safe location first, where there's cameras and security, and let each other know that, so then the ground rules are. So if something happens, that may not mean that's going to be your life, that's going to be okay, but at least there's a track somewhere that somebody knows who this person is. And if you feel really unsafe, then don't do it. But I highly recommend solo traveling if you have an inkling to just get out there and discover the world, discover people. And folks, traveling doesn't have to be expensive. People always say, oh, you have to... If you forego a few meals, a few tours, be disciplined, you could do it once a year to a small place, and then I guarantee you, once you start it, you will never forget it, and you won't ever stop. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, share the link, and leave me any comments, questions. I'll try to answer them. Hey, enjoy your travels, man.